Hello, Algebra 2. Here we are with the quadratic formula. Remember that our standard quadratic equation here, ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Your a term is whatever is attached to x squared, can also be a 1. b is the number attached to x, and c is the number that's all by itself with no x on it. Okay, we've been using factoring, and we're going to have another one coming up. We've used square roots to solve these, but sometimes those don't work. And then we have the quadratic formula. And the nice thing about this is that it always works, but it's a little bit work intensive, so it goes a little slower than if we can just do it with factoring or square roots right off the bat. Okay, you'll notice that it does have a square root in the formula. And the terms under that square root are called the discriminant. That b squared minus 4ac is the discriminant. And that can tell us a lot about our function just by looking at it. Okay, on your note sheet here, you should have a little side-by-side chart. If the b squared minus 4ac is greater than 0, aka positive, and it's a perfect square, we're going to have two real rational roots. Nice answers. They're going to be fractions or whole numbers. If your b squared minus 4ac is greater than 0 and not a perfect square, we will have two real irrational roots. I got not nice here. Not nice might be a little harsh. It's just going to have a radical left over in the answer. If it does equal exactly 0, we're going to have one real rational root, one nice answer. And if it's less than 0, negative, we're going to have our imaginary or complex answers. All right, let's get into it. Okay, we're going to first find the determinant. Then use that determinant and the chart on the other side to figure out what type of roots we're going to have and what it might look like. And then we'll actually use the full quadratic formula to find our answers. Okay? So this little step-by-step breakdown is nice when we're starting out. I don't think this is going to be required on the test. This is how the front side of your worksheet's going to be. And the back side's going to be like down below. But, we should probably write this on the top up here, just because it's the first time doing it. So we got negative b plus or minus b squared, the square root of b squared minus 4ac, all over 2a. Okay, so step 1, we want to find the discriminant. And that's just the stuff under the radical, b squared minus 4ac. If I'm looking at this first problem, here's my a, b, and c. So we're going to have b squared, so it's going to be 6 squared minus 4. That 4 is always part of the equation, times our a, times our c. So we will have 36 minus, this is a negative 7, Mr. Handke, minus 4 times 2 is 8, times negative 7 is negative 56. Okay, some people will take that negative 4 with it and have a negative 4 times 2 for negative 8, and then get negative 8 times negative 7 for a plus 56. I just did it with a minus negative, which is also going to be a plus. Either way, we end up with 92. Okay, if we flip that over, what's 92 going to do for us? 92 is greater than 0 and not a perfect square. So we're expecting two real irrational roots, meaning we'll probably have a square root left over at the end. All right, so we've got our discriminant, we've got our types of roots. Now let's do it. And you'll see the nice part of doing this early. Negative b, so negative of our 6 plus minus that square root. But we already did all that, the b squared minus 4ac, and we know it's just 92 over 2 times our a. Okay. Square root of 92. Can we break it down? I don't know. So here's how I would try. I know 92 is not a perfect square because 81 is 9 squared and 10 squared is 100. So it's not perfect. So I'm going to cut it in half. And we're looking at numbers that are 46 and under. Well, 46 is not a perfect square, so what's under 46 that is? 36. So now we're going to divide by 36. Didn't work. The next one is 25. Okay, we should know that 25 is not going to go in there, because if you're counting by 25s, it's 25, 50, 75, 100. It's not 92 at all. 16, we might need a check. Nope. 90, or 9, we might not need to check that one either, because we know that 9 times 10 is 90, and 9 times 11 is 99. We're going to go right past 92. So now we're down to our last one, 4, jackpot. Okay, so 4 times 23, that's how we'll break it down. Negative 6 plus minus radical 4, radical 23 over 4. And the square root of 4 is 2. 2 radical 23 over 4. Not done yet. Okay, there's 3 parts to this, top left, top right, and bottom, and they're all 3 divisible by 2. So we'll have a negative 3 plus or minus 1 radical 23 over 2. Okay, and that's what they mean by 2 irrational roots. We're going to have a square root involved. There's the plus minus for having 2. All right, let's do it again. Let's do it again. Maybe just a touch faster. Okay, so we got A, B, C. We're going to do B squared minus 4AC. So we got our negative 6 squared minus 4 times, what's our A? It's not 0, it's a 1, because there's a 1x squared there. And C is 10. Okay, negative 36 squared, negative 6 squared, don't put negative 36. It's positive. Minus 40 is negative 4. Okay, what do we got going on with a negative 4? Negative. 2 complex roots, 2 imaginary roots. We're going to be having an I involved. It might have a radical in it still at the end. It might not. We'll see. It's just saying that there's going to be I involved. All right, so x equals negative of our b number. Plus minus, big square root. We got negative 6 squared minus 4 times. Our a was 1. And our c is, I don't need to write this down, we just did it. All over 2a, 2 times 1. I didn't need to write that out, we just did it. That was the whole point of doing this first. Where's my mind at? Okay, so this should be the square root of negative 4. Right? Negative 4. So we're going to have positive 6, negative, negative, all over 2. The square root of negative 4 should be 2i. And 6, 2, 2, we can divide them all by 2 of 3 plus or minus 1i. Okay? 3 plus or minus 1i. Alright, now, that one had an I. They could very easily have a radical with an I there as well. An I times radical whatever. So just because this one worked out with no radical, but it does have an I, doesn't mean that that's how they're all going to look. All right. Now, that was just a little itty-bitty step-by-step. Some people like that. On the test, I'm pretty sure it's going to look like this. Just says solve. You won't have to go through all those little steps, but if you like it, you most certainly can. Okay, so what does it look like with just solve? A, B, C. Well, we're just going to go right down the line on our formula. Negative of our b, so we got negative of negative 3 plus minus big square root b squared, negative 3 squared, 4 times a times c. Got little itty-bitty numbers in there just to make it nice for you the first time. All over 2 times a, 2 times 2. Now, early on, when you first start doing these, very important to take little itty-bitty steps. Don't try doing lots of things all on one line, because that's how you make silly mistakes, especially early on. So, negative of a negative 3, we're going to have positive 3. Negative 3 squared is 9 minus 8 over there over 4. Okay, I simplified that spot. That spot, that spot. Just did all the regular algebra multiplying. Okay, 9 minus 8 is the square root of 1. Square root of 1 is 1. And now we have 3 plus or minus 1 over 4. Now, if it works out like this and we get all nice numbers, there's no radicals in there at the end, go ahead and finish it off. Go ahead and do it. This is how I'm going to write this little organizer. You do not have to do it this way. I'm going to do the plus 1 up there and the minus 1 down here, right? Because it's plus or minus 1. So 3 plus 1 over 4 is 1. 3 minus 1 over 4 is 2/4 or a half. Okay, you don't have to organize it that way. You can organize it however way you want. That's just how I did it. All right, go ahead and push pause, and let's try this one on our own. Go ahead and push pause and give that one a go. All right, welcome back. Hopefully we got something along the lines of this. Negative 2 plus or minus I radical 10 over 2. If you want to get real fancy, we can even further simplify that without simplifying this. All right, we're going to split them up into 2 fractions. Negative 2 over 2 plus or minus I radical 10 over 2. And we'll have a negative 1 in the front with no 2 under it anymore. Now this is where I would probably expect you to get. So we got our negative b plus or minus b squared minus 4 times, that 4 is always there, a times c. So we got 16 minus 56 in there. That's negative 40. We got a perfect square that goes into negative 40. It'd be 4. We're going to take the negative sign with that 4. So then the square root of negative 4 is 2i. All right, so see how it's similar but different than our last I. This one came out perfect. This one came out with a radical attached to it still. And then we could simplify a little bit in there to get our final answer. And that one would be right as well. All right, thanks for watching, everyone. Good luck out there. Nice and slow early on. Make sure we get this routine down.